the simple at-home test that can reveal early signs of clogged arteries. This is where prevention truly begins. Imagine being able to detect hidden problems in your cardiovascular system before they ever show up on a medical scan or blood report. That's what makes this so powerful. We tend to think heart disease is something only doctors can uncover, something that requires expensive tests or hospital visits. But your body is smarter than that. It sends signals long before a crisis hits, subtle, physical clues that something deeper might be going wrong. One of those clues lies in your flexibility. When arteries start to stiffen, they lose their ability to expand and contract with each heartbeat. Blood flow becomes more turbulent, pressure rises, and plaque starts to form. Over time, that plaque can narrow or even block your arteries, leading to heart attacks, strokes, or fatigue that feels normal, but isn't. What most people don't realize is that arterial stiffness affects the entire body. It's not isolated to your heart. When your arteries become less elastic, your muscles and connective tissues often follow suit. This is where the beauty of the at-home flexibility test comes in. You don't need any special equipment, just your own body and a few quiet moments of honesty. Sit down, extend your legs, and reach forward. How easily can you stretch? Does your body feel fluid and mobile, tight and restricted? That tension you feel might not just be in your hamstrings, it might be a reflection of what's happening within your arteries. Studies have found that people with higher flexibility often show better vascular function, lower stiffness, better blood flow, and healthier arterial response. In contrast, those who struggle with flexibility frequently show early signs of cardiovascular rigidity. It doesn't mean you're sick, it means your body is asking for attention. It's giving you data, feedback you can act on right now. This test is not meant to replace medical advice or diagnosis, but it empowers you to notice what's often invisible. It bridges the gap between the scientific and the practical, between knowing and doing. Because the truth is, most people discover heart disease after years of silent damage. If you can spot early signs through something as simple as a stretch, you can change your future. So yes, this test is simple, but don't mistake simple for small. It's one of the most powerful habits you can add to your daily life. 1 minute of awareness could alert you to years of unnoticed decline. Every time you stretch and check your reach, you're not just testing flexibility, you're testing the vitality of your life's most important muscle, your heart. How to recognize the body's subtle warning signals before a heart attack strikes. This might be one of the most important skills you could ever develop. Because the truth is, your body almost always warns you before disaster hits. The problem is, most people don't recognize the signs. We're trained to respond only when pain is loud, sharp, or sudden. But heart disease is quiet. It moves slowly, almost invisibly, until one day it doesn't. Before a heart attack, your body may send whispers, signals so soft they're easy to dismiss. You might notice a little shortness of breath after climbing the stairs, or fatigue that doesn't match your level of effort. Maybe there's a strange tightness in your jaw, a dull ache in your left arm, pressure in your chest that comes and goes. Most people brush these off as stress, aging, or just being out of shape. But your body is smarter than that. It's trying to start a conversation. Another clue hides in your circulation. Do your hands or feet feel cold more often? Do your legs cramp at night or when you walk? These are signs that blood isn't flowing as freely as it should. The arteries that deliver oxygen to your muscles may be narrowing. The heart might be working harder than it should, trying to push through resistance. Even subtle changes in energy, sleep, concentration can be signals. When blood flow to the brain decreases, you may feel foggy, irritable, or unmotivated. The brain, after all, is one of the first organs to sense reduced oxygen supply. Your mind slows before your heart stops. And let's not forget one of the most overlooked warning signs, fatigue after eating. When arteries are clogged, the heart must work harder to digest food because more blood is diverted to the stomach. If you often feel unusually tired after meals, especially large or fatty ones, that might be your body hinting that your cardiovascular system is under strain. But awareness is power. When you start paying attention to these patterns, your breath, your energy, your endurance, you begin to read your own body like a language. You start noticing when something feels off, even slightly. That's how early detection begins, not in the doctor's office, in your daily awareness. Here's the reality: heart attacks rarely happen nowhere. The body almost always sends an invitation to act sooner. The question is, do we listen? You don't need fear, you need curiosity. Every signal your body gives you is a chance to intervene, to change course, to add years to your life. So the next time you feel that odd heaviness, that unexplainable fatigue, that tingling in your arm or chest pressure that fades when you rest, don't ignore it. Write it down, track it, talk about it.
Yeah.
Those whispers are not weaknesses, they're warnings. Your body doesn't want to fail, it wants to be heard. Recognizing these subtle signals doesn't just save lives, it transforms them. Because once you start listening to your body, you start respecting it. And once you respect it, you start healing it. Why ignoring your circulation could silently shorten your lifespan, because what you can't see can still harm you. Most people think of blood circulation as something automatic, something the body just does. The heart pumps, the blood flows, and life goes on. But here's the truth. Good circulation isn't guaranteed, it's earned. It depends on how you move, how you eat, how you manage stress, and how consistently you pay attention to your body's needs. When circulation starts to falter, the decline is slow, almost invisible, but deeply destructive. Think of your circulatory system as the highway of your life, over 60,000 miles of blood vessels carrying oxygen, nutrients, and energy to every cell in your body. When traffic flows freely, everything thrives. Your brain stays sharp, your muscles stay strong, your organs repair themselves. But when those highways start to narrow, when plaque builds up or arteries stiffen, the entire system begins to struggle. The brain doesn't get the oxygen it needs, the heart has to work overtime, and the body's natural repair mechanisms start to fail. Poor circulation isn't just about cold feet or numb hands, it's the foundation of accelerated aging. It means your tissues aren't being nourished properly. It means inflammation lingers longer, healing slows down, and toxins build up. Over time, this hidden struggle can shave years, sometimes decades, off your life expectancy. And the cruel part, you might not feel any of it happening until the damage is already deep. Ignoring your circulation is like ignoring rust on the foundation of your home. You might not see it at first, but slowly it weakens everything. You'll notice small clues, slower recovery from exercise, fatigue that hits earlier in the day, brain fog that comes out of nowhere, or skin that looks less vibrant. These are not random signs of aging. They are your body's way of saying, I'm not getting what I need. And here's where the danger multiplies. Once circulation begins to decline, a feedback loop starts. Less blood flow means less oxygen. Less oxygen means less movement. Less movement means even poorer circulation. It's a downward spiral that only awareness and action can break. The good news, your body has an incredible ability to repair itself. The moment you start improving circulation through movement, hydration, breathing exercises, and better nutrition, the results begin almost immediately. Arteries start to relax. Blood pressure drops. Cells begin to heal. You feel clearer, stronger, more alive. Dr. Dino Undo It talks about how lifestyle changes, movement, diet, connection, stress reduction can actually reverse heart disease. Not just stop it, reverse it. That's the power of circulation. It's not a fixed system. It's dynamic, adaptable, and responsive to how you live each day. So when you ignore your circulation, you're not just neglecting your arteries, you're dimming your body's entire energy system. But when you nurture it, when you make small daily choices to move, breathe deeply, and eat mindfully, you literally extend your life from the inside out. The heart doesn't demand perfection. It asks for attention. Every heartbeat is a reminder that you're still being given a chance to take care of it. Don't let those chances slip away quietly, because while clogged arteries kill silently, awareness heals loudly. The surprising link between flexibility and artery health, it almost sounds too simple, doesn't it? How could touching your toes possibly tell you anything about your heart? But science says it can. Flexibility, that basic measure of how easily your body bends and moves, might actually reveal how flexible or stiff your arteries are on the inside, and that connection could be the key to spotting cardiovascular issues long before they become life-threatening. When we think about flexibility, we picture yoga poses, athletes stretching, or the ability to move freely without pain. What's really happening when you stretch is that you're testing the elasticity of your connective tissues, your muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Interestingly, the same protein, collagen, plays a major role in both your muscles and your arteries. So if your body's external tissues are losing flexibility, it often reflects a similar stiffness developing in your blood vessels. Research from the American Journal of Physiology found that adults with poor flexibility, particularly in the hamstrings and lower back, tend to have stiffer arteries and higher blood pressure. In other words, if your body doesn't bend easily, your blood might not flow easily either. That's not just a coincidence. It's a mirror. You see, arteries are living tissues. They expand and contract every time your heart beats, helping to push blood efficiently throughout the body. When they're flexible, your circulation is smooth, your blood pressure stays balanced, and your heart doesn't have to work as hard. But when they stiffen, blood flow becomes restricted, pressure builds, the heart strains, and silently, plaque begins to form. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Movement that improves flexibility can also directly improve artery health. Simple daily stretching, yoga, or even mindful movement like Tai Chi can increase nitric oxide production in your blood vessels. Nitric oxide helps them relax, dilate, and function more efficiently. It's nature's built-in blood pressure regulator. So, the same stretches that help your muscles feel looser might also be helping your heart stay younger. Most people think heart health is all about cardio workouts, running, cycling, swimming, but flexibility training deserves just as much respect. It targets a different system, not just your muscles, but your vascular elasticity. It teaches your body how to flow again, both inside and out. Try this sit on the floor, extend your legs, and reach forward. If you can easily touch your toes, great. Your body's flexibility is likely reflecting good arterial elasticity. If you can't, that's not failure. It's feedback. It's your body inviting you to start working on flexibility to release tension, not just from your muscles, but from your arteries, your stress, your life. The link between flexibility and artery health is a perfect example of how deeply connected our systems are. The body doesn't separate movement from circulation. It treats them as one. Every time you stretch, you're not just loosening your body, you're freeing your blood flow. Every time you improve your posture or take a deeper breath, you're sending a message to your arteries: relax, open, rejuvenate. So the next time you reach for your toes, remember, it's not just a test of your body's range, it's a reflection of your heart's vitality. The more flexible you become on the outside, the more resilient you become on the inside. Flexibility isn't just about movement, it's about life itself, flowing freely through every heartbeat. How lifestyle choices quietly shape the strength and elasticity of your arteries. This is where the story of long-term heart health is truly written. Every bite you take, every step you walk, every night you sleep or don't, either strengthens or strains the most vital system in your body. Arteries aren't just passive tubes, they're living, breathing tissues that respond constantly to how you live. They stiffen under stress, relax with movement, repair with rest, and heal with nourishment. The choices you make each day are literally sculpting the condition of your arteries from the inside out. Let's start with food. What you eat can either inflame or protect your arteries. Diets rich in processed fats, sugars, and refined carbs trigger inflammation and oxidative stress, damaging the inner lining of your arteries, the endothelium. Once that lining is injured, cholesterol begins to stick, plaque starts to build, and blood flow narrows. On the other hand, foods like leafy greens, berries, olive oil, avocado, and fatty fish feed your arteries the nutrients they crave. They boost nitric oxide, reduce inflammation, and help maintain that smooth, elastic flow that keeps your heart young. Every meal is a message to your arteries, either one of healing or harm. Food is just one piece of the puzzle. Movement is another. When you sit too long, blood stagnates. The arteries lose their natural rhythm of expansion and contraction. But when you move, walk, stretch, dance, breathe deeply, you stimulate circulation and oxygen delivery. Your arteries feel that movement. They respond by staying supple and strong. Even a brisk 10-minute walk can wake up your vascular system and remind your arteries what they were built to do: flow. Sleep, too, plays a huge role. Chronic lack of rest increases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which raise blood pressure and cause arterial walls to stiffen over time. During deep sleep, your blood vessels relax, your heart rate lowers, and your system repairs itself. You can think of each night as a maintenance window for your arteries. Skipping sleep isn't just tiring, it's literally robbing your cardiovascular system of its healing time. Then there's stress, the invisible killer. When you live in constant tension, your arteries stay slightly constricted. The body is in a perpetual fight or flight mode, releasing hormones that strain the heart. Chronic stress wears down your vascular elasticity just like constant pressure wears down rubber. But here's the hopeful part: the opposite is also true. Deep breathing, mindfulness, prayer, gratitude, these aren't just mental tools. They send biochemical signals to your arteries to relax, expand, and recover. Even small habits compound. Smoking just one cigarette can constrict arteries for hours. Drinking enough water, meanwhile, can improve blood viscosity, making it easier for your heart to pump. Sitting all day increases arterial stiffness. Standing, stretching, and taking micro movements every hour can counter it. Your arteries are always listening to how you live, and it's not about perfection, it's about patterns. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to stack small, positive choices day after day. The human body is forgiving. The arteries you've strained for years can begin to soften and heal in weeks if you start treating them right. The blue zones remind us that people who live the longest aren't necessarily those with perfect diets or exercise routines. They're the ones whose daily habits support natural movement, connection, and peace. They live in ways that keep blood flowing, stress low, and hearts light. So take this truth to heart, literally. Every choice you make is either teaching your arteries to stay open and flexible or pushing them towards stiffness and decline. You are, in every moment, the architect of your own circulation. And the masterpiece you're building or neglecting is your future health. The science behind why arteries clog and how to stop it naturally reveals one of the most fascinating and hopeful truths about the human body: that heart disease is not a sudden event, but a slow process we have the power to reverse. Arteries don't clog overnight. They change gradually, shaped by years of habits, nutrition, and lifestyle patterns. And while that may sound daunting, it's also empowering, because what forms slowly can also heal slowly through conscious, consistent change. At the root of clogged arteries is something called atherosclerosis, a condition where the inner walls of your arteries, the endothelium, get damaged. Imagine your arteries as smooth, flexible pipes that carry oxygen, rich blood to every cell. When they're healthy, blood flows effortlessly. But when the endothelium is irritated by high blood pressure, smoking, processed foods, or chronic stress, it develops microscopic tears. In response, the body tries to repair that damage by sending cholesterol and immune cells to patch the area. Over time, those patches turn into plaque. Plaque is like debris building up inside your pipes. It hardens, narrows the passageway, and reduces blood flow. And here's the danger: when plaque breaks loose, it can form a clot that blocks blood flow entirely, leading to a heart attack or stroke. That's the sudden event people fear, but in truth, it's years of silent buildup finally reaching its breaking point. Now, here's the part most people never hear: this process can be slowed, stopped, and even reversed naturally. Studies from cardiologists like Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn have shown that a combination of plant-based nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, and social connection can not only prevent heart disease, but actually shrink arterial plaque. Think about that. The same arteries that were once narrowing can begin to reopen. How? Because the body is constantly rebuilding itself. The endothelium, that inner lining of your arteries, regenerates. When you flood your system with antioxidants, fiber, and omega-3 fatty acids from foods like leafy greens, berries, nuts, and salmon, you reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, the two main drivers of plaque formation. When you lower your stress levels, your body releases less cortisol and adrenaline, allowing your arteries to relax and recover. When you move your body regularly, your heart pumps stronger, circulation improves, and blood pressure stabilizes. Every one of these actions gives your arteries room to breathe again. One of the most underestimated healers: oxygen. Deep breathing and aerobic activity like walking, cycling, or even gentle swimming boost nitric oxide production. This molecule signals your arteries to dilate and keeps them smooth and flexible. The more nitric oxide you have, the harder it is for plaque to stick and grow. That's why movement is medicine. What clogs arteries is inflammation, not just cholesterol. What heals arteries is balance between stress and rest, activity and recovery, nourishment and indulgence. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. You don't need an expensive supplement or miracle cure. You just need to create an internal environment where healing is possible. Think of it this way: every meal, every breath, every step is either adding to the buildup or clearing it away. Every choice you make is like a vote for or against your cardiovascular future. The power is already in your hands and in your heart. The science is clear: your arteries are not fixed structures. They're living, dynamic tissues that respond to how you live each day. And if they can respond to damage, they can respond to healing. Clogged arteries are not a sentence, they're a signal, a call to action, a reminder that even the smallest daily choices can literally change the flow of your life. What most people get wrong about feeling healthy is that we often confuse the absence of pain with the presence of health. We think, I feel fine, so I must be fine. But that's one of the most dangerous assumptions anyone can make about their body, especially when it comes to the heart. Because the truth is, by the time you feel something, your arteries may have already been silently struggling for years. Heart disease doesn't always announce itself with pain. It begins quietly with small changes you don't notice. A bit of stiffness in the morning, slight fatigue you brush off as stress, breathlessness you blame on being out of shape. These aren't random, they're whispers from your cardiovascular system. Yet we live in a culture that praises pushing through discomfort, ignoring rest, and measuring health by appearance rather than by function. We've been trained to look for visible signs: clear skin, lean muscles, steady energy. But heart disease doesn't always affect the way you look. A person can seem fit, even athletic, and still have plaque building up in their arteries. It's why so many seemingly healthy individuals suffer sudden heart attacks. Their outer image tells one story, but their inner health tells another. You see, feeling healthy is not just about how energetic you are today, it's about how your body is performing beneath the surface. Your arteries don't care about how motivated you feel. They care about how consistently you move, how well you nourish yourself, and how often you allow recovery. You can't feel high blood pressure. You can't feel early arterial stiffness. But you can develop awareness, habits that help you stay connected to your internal health before symptoms ever appear. That's why tests like the flexibility reach, monitoring your pulse, paying attention to your breathing can be so valuable. They give you feedback, early, accessible clues that something might need your attention. Because the goal isn't to wait for pain, it's to prevent it. Books like How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger remind us that many of the world's most common causes of death are not only preventable, but reversible. But prevention begins with humility, the willingness to admit that feeling good doesn't always mean being well. You might not feel your arteries clogging, but that doesn't mean they aren't. You might not feel your blood pressure rising, but that doesn't mean it's normal. The good news is that your body is always talking to you. You just have to learn its language. Subtle fatigue, slow recovery after workouts, or occasional lightheadedness can be signs of circulation imbalance. They're not reasons to panic. They're invitations to act. They're your body saying, help me now so I don't have to scream later. True health isn't about chasing energy highs or relying on the mirror for validation. It's about cultivating awareness. It's knowing your body well enough to sense when something's off, even before the numbers confirm it. The people who live the longest aren't the ones who feel perfect every day. They're the ones who listen to their imperfections and respond with care. So don't wait until you feel sick to take your health seriously. Don't wait for pain to tell you that something's wrong. Because by the time your body screams, it's already been whispering for years. Feeling healthy is wonderful, but being healthy means you've earned that feeling from the inside out. How to use 1 minute each morning to assess your vascular health. Because your heart doesn't need complicated technology to tell you how it's doing, it just needs your attention. Imagine starting your day with a simple 1 minute ritual that could reveal how well your blood is flowing, how flexible your arteries are, and how strong your heart truly feels. No needles, no devices, no doctor's visit, just you, your body, and a quiet moment of awareness. The test is simple but profound. When you wake up, sit comfortably on the edge of your bed or on a mat. Take a deep breath and slowly exhale, then reach forward toward your toes, just as in the sit and reach flexibility test. Feel the stretch through your hamstrings, your back, your body's limits. Don't force it. Just notice it. This single movement gives you a snapshot of how your vascular system might be functioning. If you can reach easily and your body feels loose, your arteries are likely staying supple. If you feel stiffness, tension, or resistance, that may reflect tightness not just in your muscles, but in your arteries as well. Now add one more step. Place 2 fingers on the side of your neck or wrist and find your pulse. Count it for 15 seconds and multiply by 4. This is your resting heart rate. If it's higher than usual or if it feels irregular, that's a sign your cardiovascular system might be under strain. Combine that with your flexibility test and you get a quick, intuitive measure of your vascular health before your day even begins. Why does this matter? Because mornings reveal what nights conceal. When you first wake up, your body hasn't yet been influenced by stress, caffeine, or movement. Your circulation is at its baseline, your true state. It's the perfect moment to listen to what your body's telling you. In just 1 minute, you can check the pulse of your arteries and get ahead of problems that most people discover only after a crisis. This ritual isn't about perfection, it's about connection. The simple act of stretching and feeling your pulse keeps you engaged with your health. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns, days when you feel tighter, days when your heart beats faster, days when your reach improves. These small insights are powerful because they tell you when your body is thriving and when it might need rest, hydration, or a reset. Science supports this kind of self-awareness. Research in cardiovascular health shows that consistent, mindful observation of your body, heart rate, flexibility, breathing correlates with better long-term outcomes. People who stay aware of these internal signals tend to make healthier decisions throughout the day. Awareness drives discipline. Discipline builds health. You don't need an expensive gadget to stay ahead of heart disease. You just need 60 seconds of curiosity. Make it a habit every morning. Stretch, feel, breathe, and listen. Let it become your daily check-in with the most important system you own. Because 1 minute of awareness in the morning can save you years of regret later. Your arteries are always talking. You just need to take a moment to listen. The motivation to take charge of your heart health, starting today, comes from one simple realization. No one is coming to save you but you. Your heart is with you every second of your life, beating tirelessly, asking for almost nothing in return except care and awareness. Yet, too often, we wait for a crisis to start caring. We wait for the diagnosis, the chest pain, the warning call that tells us we've run out of time. But you don't need to wait. You can begin right now. Motivation doesn't come from fear. It comes from clarity. The moment you understand how much power you already have over your own health, something changes. You stop seeing wellness as a mystery and start seeing it as a choice. Every heartbeat is a reminder that your body is still fighting for you. Even if you've made mistakes, even if you've ignored the signs, even if you've lived years in unhealthy patterns, your heart hasn't given up. It's still working. It's still hoping you will join the fight. Doctor Mike often says that knowledge without action is just information. You might know what's healthy and what's not, but it's the daily choices that define your future. Health isn't about perfection. It's about participation. It's about deciding that you won't drift through life waiting for the next checkup or the next scare to remind you what's at stake. You'll move because you can, not because you have to. You'll eat better because it fuels your body, not because it's a punishment. You'll rest because recovery is part of strength, not weakness. Motivation grows when you reconnect with why it matters. Maybe you want to live long enough to see your kids graduate, to travel, to dance again, to wake up without fatigue, to simply breathe without worry. Why? Hold on to it. It's stronger than any excuse. The moment you remember who you're doing this for, every healthy choice becomes easier. And don't underestimate the power of momentum. You don't have to transform overnight. Just begin. Stretch for 1 minute. Go for a walk. Choose water over soda. These tiny acts might seem meaningless today. Stacked together, they become unstoppable. They create a ripple that changes your entire trajectory. Your arteries, your brain, your heart, they all respond to your effort. Within weeks, blood pressure improves, energy rises, sleep deepens. Your body rewards consistency faster than you think. In The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy writes that smart choices made consistently over time lead to radical results. That principle applies perfectly to heart health. 1 day of movement won't save you, but a lifetime of small, intentional movement will. Your arteries remember every choice. They remember the care, the effort, the oxygen give them. So take this as your call to action. Not next week, not next year. Today. Because your heart doesn't get rest days. It's been beating for you since before you were born, millions of times without fail. The least you can do is start beating for it. This isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about creating vitality, the energy to live, to feel, to thrive. The kind of health that lets you wake up each day knowing your heart is strong and your choices are aligned with life, not fear. Don't wait for motivation. Create it. 1 heartbeat, 1 stretch, 1 decision at a time. Your future self will look back and thank you for this moment, the day you decided that your heart was worth fighting for.